Hello there and welcome. It's another edition of Kogi Today, in which we highlight the activities of Kogi State government. I am AntiBalut. Today we are going into the world of agriculture. If you like, we might call it farming. And I have joining me on the program, on this week's edition, the Director General Media to Kogi State Governor AntiBalut, that's Femi. Fanwo. Now, we will talk about this agric revolution of Kogi State, which is being had all over the country. In brief, before we bring in some visuals, what is this agric revolution all about?
Thank you very much. During the electioneering of the governorship campaign of AntiBalut, he went around the state and discovered the opportunities that we have in agriculture. And from that time, he decided to invest heavily into the agricultural sector to be able to diversify the economy, employ more young Kogites, and be able to drive the economy of the Kogi State on the platform of agriculture. And that's exactly what his administration has been able to succeed in doing. So far, Kogi State has declared a state of emergency in the agricultural sector. And with that, we have been able to spark a lot of revolution in agriculture. The Omi Kampi Dam had been in existence for more than 20 years, but when he came into office, he entered into an agreement with the Lower Niger Basin Development Authority to be able to put that facility into use. And today, you have over 1,000 farmers on the project, doing either aqua farming or rice farming and all sorts of agricultural practices there. As we speak, we are almost through with the rice mill at Omi. What we want to achieve is that we don't want to just cultivate and take to other states to process. So we are building a mill where we can process the rice and sell to the other parts of the country, because it is the determination of the New Direction administration to feed Nigeria. Kogi State wants to take over from Benue as the food basket of the nation. And as we speak, we are achieving that gradually, because we have been declared as the biggest producer of cassava in the country today. We are also the biggest producer of cashew in the country today. So we are moving gradually to becoming the biggest producer of rice in Nigeria today. All
right, I know you have a lot to roll out. Meanwhile, let's go into some of the farms in Kogi State, because a few weeks ago we were talking about people planting and doing all sorts of things, and later on we got information that some top government officials have gone to witness some harvestings. So what we will do now is to bring you some film insights of how the farms are presently, people cultivating, people harvesting, and a lot of work going on here and there in Kogi farms. We'll be back after this time out.
They saw what is going on last year, that is 2015 or 18, the benefit that we people get from it. So everybody just dropped out to just join this thing. And we thank the government, and they support us. They bulldoze the land for us. They brought tractors for harrowing, plowing, and ridges like that, freely. And they brought stems, free. Then they also gave us a fertilizer, a wheelbarrow, then chemical, sprayer, even the raincoat, then the boot. Everything was free. So we really thank God, and we thank the government very well.
In the area of agriculture, I can beat my mind at my head, myself, that Governor Bello is outstanding. The contribution he made to Fadama has made it possible for Kogi to come out as one of the greatest agricultural production areas in Nigeria. We talk about Ibaji farm, and either we have more than 2,000 to 3,000 hectares of land under rice production. So also in Basa. When you come to cassava production, Ojapata, Ankpa, Iyale, Okra, Egume, Ida, these areas are massively involved in cassava production. Not to talk about Jamata and the Kaba area. We have a lot of cassava here. But people have been paying lip service. We'll do this, we'll do that. He don't even only stop it, but he made sure that this cassava is processed in this state. That is why, as you go along, you'll be seeing the infrastructure for cassava production, creating jobs, creating wealth, getting our youth off the streets, getting them engaged in productive work. Governor Yaya Bello is providing enabling environment. There's a lot of security. Because without security, what we are talking is not possible.
Yes, here we are again back in the studio after visiting some farms in Kogi State. Well, Femi, I would say congratulations. I personally saw a lot of activities going on there. Well, let me go into a useful digression. We are talking about subsistence farming, or later on it will be food for business or whatever. But for now, is this creating gainful employment, more especially for youths?
Yeah, it is. It is creating gainful employment. For the problem with agriculture in the past was the subsistence nature. It was not attracting the youthful population in our state. Because when you are depending on hoes and cutlasses, then you will attract only the old people. Yes, the productivity level will be very low. But today, we have been able to mechanize agriculture in Kogi State. When we were telling the world that Kogi is fast becoming the hub of agriculture in Nigeria, they said we were doing propaganda. But last week, we started harvesting from our greenhouse in Osara. Okay. Osara is in Kogi Central part of Kogi State. And before now, Osara used to be one of the hotbeds of kidnapping and other violent crimes in the state. But today, the narrative has changed from kidnapping to becoming the greenhouse of Kogi State. So we've started harvesting a lot of vegetables from our greenhouse, and some of the harvested vegetables have been taken to all other parts of the state and to the northern parts of Nigeria, to Lagos and everywhere. So that is the intent of this administration. Also, we have witnessed a lot of harvesting in Omi Dam. Rice, a lot of rice have been harvested, and as soon as we are through with our rice mill, we'll be able to realize the value chain and be able to become the rice market of Nigeria. All
right. How did you succeed in making agriculture attractive to youths?
Yeah.
It's not an easy thing, because youths of nowadays, you know, they're on the fast lane. They will tell you, I want to ride Jeep after ND or whatever. So most of these youths, they are not particularly keen on agriculture, and it will take you a hectic time convincing them to embrace farming.
What Kogi lacked for 25 years before the coming of Alhaji Yahaya Bello was purposeful leadership. When you have the right leaders, they will come up with the right policies to change the landscape of governance. And that's exactly what we are witnessing in Kogi State today. As I speak to you, I know that more than 50,000 youths have been empowered to practice mechanized agriculture in Kogi State. What we did was to first bring them. We did a lot of agricultural training for them. Some of them were even sent outside the state to undertake training in poultry farming, in rice farming, in greenhouse management, and all of that. So after the training, we brought them back, and we were able to key into a lot of federal government policies, including the Anchor Borrowers Program, the Fadama program, and all of that, to empower them. The state was always prompt in paying counterpart funds, especially when it affects agriculture, to be able to ensure that we have hundreds of thousands of our youths venturing into productive agriculture. I'll give you a very simple example. I was at Omidam a few weeks ago, and I met with some very, very young graduates. They are doing rice farming in Omidam. And, you know, from their first harvest, one of them made about 2 million naira profit. The tractor they are using belongs to the state government. We bought tractors, we bought combine harvesters, we bought facilities for irrigation and all sorts of things. So it has now become an agricultural community, and that was what the state government envisaged. We want to create agricultural settlements across the state to be able to entice the youth to make millions from agriculture. And you will realize that after our civil service reforms, especially the issue of screening exercise, we are now discovering that a lot of civil servants are resigning from government work to join agriculture. Because you will stay in the civil service, you are being paid 70,000 naira per month for a year, you take less than 1 million naira, then somebody will just harvest rice or sell fish and get 5 million naira from it. So it is more productive to engage in agriculture, to key into the opportunities that Alhaji Yahaya Bello has created in the agricultural sector of Kogi State today. Good.
Now, how are they being enlightened on different methods of farming?
Yeah, we have a very, very functional extension service in Kogi State today. You know, before now, the agricultural extension workers just stay in their offices. They had no work to do. But today, they have been properly trained to be on these farms. To, you know, a lot of youths in Kogi State have formed what they call agricultural cooperatives. Before you can benefit from most of these policies and programs, you must have cooperatives. So many of them have formed, some of them 100 people in a cooperative to be able to attract these loans from either the federal government, the state government, or the Bank of Industry and all of that. So with that, we can put them in a cluster and have proper training for them. And that is what the state government is doing. So we have our extension workers, we have exposed them to international best standards, both abroad and in Nigeria. We have trained them properly, and now they are going into those farms to impart those things they've learned in the youth today. And that is why we are having the kind of high-level productivity in agriculture in Kogi State.
How is animal husbandry?
Beautiful. One of the areas the state is doing very well. For instance, we were the first to immunize cattle in the state. Over 1 million cattle were immunized by the state government. And that's
the first in Nigeria.
First in Nigeria.
Okay.
I don't know if any other state had done that yet, but we got a letter of commendation from the Federal Ministry of Agriculture, being the first to be able to do that in Nigeria. And that is to now have what I will call a chain impact on the healthcare of our people. This is a governor that takes the issue of healthcare very, very serious. So he has been able to do that to ensure that Kogites consume healthy meat, and that is a very beautiful one for us.
Right. We'll go back to the area of security in the farms. You will agree with me that in some, if not many parts of Nigeria now, farmers have deserted their farms because of insecurity. And even female farmers are being raped in their farms, so they are being chased away. What is the situation in Kogi State? Are your farmers confident of going to their farms?
We had a survey when we came in 2016, and we had a fair knowledge of the cost of foodstuff in Kogi State. Our Directorate of Research went into the reasons why we had those skyrocket prices of foodstuff in the state. And we discovered that it boiled down to the level of productivity. The more you produce, the more you'll be able to drag down the cost. And, you know, they were unable to produce because some of them could not even go to their farms again as a result of very high rate of kidnapping in the state. Some will go to their farms with their wives and children. They will kidnap all of them. So they were even afraid of going to their farms to farm anymore. But today, with the investment of billions of naira to launch Operation Total Freedom in the state, we have been able to ensure adequate security. And we have been rated as the most secured state in Nigeria, and our governor had won many awards as the best governor in security. That is already paying off in our state, as farmers are now finding it safe to go to their farms to produce.
Right, we're still talking about security, and we might need to go out of the farms now and go to other areas of human endeavor. Now, at the APC National Convention, His Excellency was Chairman Subcommittee on Security, and Ekiti election, he was also in charge of security. This recognition given to him by his party, how are these activities evident in Kogi State?
When Alhaji Yahaya Bello came into office, he realized that Kogi State was already very notorious for kidnapping and other violent, even extremists. There were even traces of Boko Haram in Kogi State when he came into office. So he declared total war on insecurity. And he has been able to achieve that significantly. Probably the people at the federal level had seen what that young man has been able to achieve in ensuring, in restoring security to a very, very crime-infested state like Kogi used to be. Today, we don't hear of kidnapping anymore. We don't hear of armed robbery anymore on any of our roads. So it's something that is commendable. And that is why he has won so many awards in the area of security. And that is why the federal government is saddling him with a lot of responsibilities in ensuring security.
All right. The program is Kogi Today, and we are dealing with the issue of agric revolution in that state. And of course, we cannot talk about agric without talking about security. Now, we go a step further, and my guest is Femi Fanwo, who is the Director General Media to Kogi State Governor Yahaya Bello. Femi, there have been lots of talks here and there about the governor, Yahaya Bello. Some will say that he's very, very stubborn. Some will say that he does not listen to anybody. There's been a lot of noise about him, apart from being the youngest governor in the country. Now, this AntiBalut noise seems to be dying down. What's the magic one? What have you people been doing?
There are a lot of reasons why the noise is going down. It's expected that the noise will go down, because those who were making the noise were on a cheap propagandal blaze. They were out to bring down the governor just because the son of a commoner became governor in Kogi State. There was no other reason. They said he was not performing. Now, Kogi State is #1 in agriculture in the country today. They said he's not doing anything. Now, Kogi State is the best in security in the country today. They said he's a very corrupt, he's running a corrupt government. But they didn't know that he built institutions, mechanisms within his government to checkmate corruption. And when one or two people dip their hands in the government coffers, they were dealt with, even from the state government. So we do not even need the EFCC to deal with corrupt officials in Kogi State. So you are talking of a man that is transparent. They forgot that this man has learned a lot from his political father, President Muhammadu Buhari. He's fighting corruption. He's delivering democracy dividends to the people of the state. That is why he's able to silence them. And that is why they are finding it difficult to rear their ugly heads again. Two, the second reason is that many of these people making noise, they were the reasons Kogi was backward. And now he has been able to expose them substantially. I heard one governor was saying that he should publish the report against him and all of that. I just laughed. These are the people who collected 2 billion naira meant to empower youths in Kogi State. They were to be given loans to improve their lives, to be productive, to add to the society. And they sat around the table and shared the money. No record of it anywhere. And you are now saying they should publish your name. There is a white paper report already, and we are working with the anti-corruption agencies. We don't need to put their names in the newspapers. They will be invited, and they will answer to all the things they have stolen from the Commonwealth of Kogi State. That is why they are quiet today, because they know we have exposed them substantially. Some of them have televisions and radio stations in Kogi State. Their workers were being paid by the state government when there are thousands of youths that were looking for employment. All these things are on record. So they are finding it difficult to talk again because we have exposed them. They thought we would keep quiet and be suffering in silence, but we have decided to expose them. This governor has performed, so they had nothing to complain about anymore. The only thing they were talking about was the issue of salaries. Salaries.
I was coming to that.
Okay.
No. Please
but
go on.
you will realize that the issue of salary was overhyped.
Yeah.
It was overhyped. That was the only thing they could hold on to. So they were just making a lot of noise about it, misinforming the public. Even when we went on air to declare how many months we have paid, we published in the papers what we have paid to who, they were still making the noise. So that is to tell you that the opposition in Kogi State is confused. They don't have the facts to play their role. We want a very vibrant opposition as a government, because you can always be put on your toes when you are contending with an informed opposition. They are not informed, and that is why it's so sad the way they are doing a lot of character assassination and all sort of negative propaganda against the government. So the issue of salaries, I will tell you, do you know that in the local government, up till September, there was no money, they didn't pay their workers. Yes, the state government is owing 1 or 2 months as a result of certain factors. But we are saying that we are expecting our parish club refund. As soon as we get that, we will be able to clear what we are owing our workers. Those that are making noise that we are owing salaries, they borrowed money, they took loans, they took bonds, and stole it. They came to Abuja and said they were building Abuja House and spent billions of naira. Where is the Abuja House today? These are the wastes that they inflicted on us. And today, we are paying back those loans and finding it difficult to even get enough to pay salaries, not to talk of funding our various projects across the state. We have very many laudable projects across the state. We are putting in place a diagnostic center that is going to turn out to be the best in the country. I stand to be challenged when it is completed between now and January next year. So we have a lot of things to put our resources into, but as we speak, we are spending hundreds of millions servicing loans that did not add anything to the people of Kogi State.
Well, that's all we have for now, but let me just quickly add this one. There is this gale of defection going on in the country. Is your government worried?
No, we are not worried. We are not worried. You will realize that Alhaji AntiBalut is in firm control of the party in the state and, to a very large extent, the politics of the state today. What he did that those people were not happy with was that Alhaji AntiBalut came from a very humble background. So when he became governor, he brought children of nobody to come and join him to salvage Kogi State, because he didn't bring their own children. When you bring the child of a looter to come and join you, he will protect the loot of his father and loot more. So he has decided to bring people who will render quality service to the state. A very tribalistic man, someone who he does not even want to care about your religion or where you come from. He's determined to fix Kogi State. And when you look at it, throughout our congresses, there were no issues. There were no issues at all, except those who went to Abuja and said they have conducted primaries there. But, you know, it was
resolved by the national.
Yes, and then we came to the primaries peaceful. You heard of the problems in other states. Did you hear anything about Kogi State? No, because we went through indirect primaries. Delegates came out, voted freely and fairly. So, and that's why we have produced very popular candidates. We are going to prove to the world that GYB is in control of Kogi State by February and March 2019. All
right. Thank you very much, Femi, for coming on to the program.
Thank you very much.
My guest has been the Director General Media to Governor Yahaya Bello of Kogi State, Femi Fanwo. He's been talking about the agric revolution going around the nation about Kogi State. In that situation, he was able to talk about gainful employment for youths, access to facilities for poor, and of course, enlightenment for people to know different methods of farming. Well, next week, we'll bring you yet another edition of Kogi Today. I am Abuja Bello. Bye for now.